and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing to you our brand new die set Build-A-Critter costumes. We're also going to be introducing our set Build-A-Critter More costumes, and these adorable costumes are a perfect match for our Build-A-Bunny die set. So now you can dress up this cute little bunny not only for Halloween but for all their year-round occasions too, and we're going to be showing you some fun ideas in this set. And so now let's take a look at the Build-A-Critter costumes. In this die set you can make a really cute witch. You can also turn it into a wizard. You can make a vampire and a pirate. Now here are all of the pieces that are included in this set. We have a super cute witch's hat with the fun little detail pieces that you can put on top of it. We also have a little star here, and you can replace the star with the buckle and make a wizard's hat. We have a cute little cape, a magic wand, and also a broom. These are the pieces here that help you make the cape for the vampire, and of course he has a little bow tie as well. We have a pirate's hat with the little skull and crossbones and an eye patch and a hook as well. And then we also have these really cute little things that the bunny can hold on to. So we have the cute little treat bucket and little candies you can put inside, and also an adorable tiny little pumpkin too. Now, before we build our costumes, we need to build our bunny, and this is the original Build-A-Bunny set. And we're going to add some adhesive to the back of the bunny's face and then layer the pieces that add color for the ears, eyes, and nose. So first we have the earpiece, and now you'll see that the eyepiece is going to fit right into it just like a little puzzle. Then we'll be able to do the same thing with the nose piece. It's going to fit in just like a little puzzle, and then that's going to fill in the bunny's face, and look how cute that is looking. The next thing that we need to do is add that cute little belly onto the bunny, which looks so cute. And then we'll add some adhesive to the very top so that we can attach the head of the bunny onto the base. The last thing we need to do is add these little arms onto the bunny, and now the bunny is ready to decorate. And so we're going to go through each costume, and you'll see that we'll have a bunny ready-made to be dressed up in such a cute way. First up, we're going to take a look at how to make the witch, and these are all of the pieces you're going to need. And first we're going to work with the cape. And so to add the cape on, you're going to fit it over the bunny's neck, just like this. And to hold this in place, I like to put a little bit of tape runner on the back of the bunny's body, and then you can just fit the neck of the bunny right through that cut line that's in the cape. And you'll see it'll fit right there, and when it kind of stops moving, you're in perfect placement, and you can just press it on the back to hold it in place with that adhesive. Then we can just layer the bunny's head back on, and you'll see how cute this cape is looking. I love playing with these so much because it feels like you're playing paper dolls. I can't tell you how fun and joyful this is. It just makes me smile every time. Now here we have the witch's hat, and of course it's got the band, and you could use the band on its own, or you can put the buckle on, or you can put a star on. So you've got a lot of cute options for the witch's hat. And so now we're going to add that buckle on there, and I think this hat is so cute. It would look really cute on top of a pumpkin as well. And then, of course, the witch has her broom, and so we're going to add the bottom of the broom onto the broomstick. And then you can have the bunny hold the broom, or you could use the broom as kind of like a scene builder. There's so many cute things that you can do with it. I mean, look how adorable this is. It just makes me smile so much. Now, next up, we're going to take a look at the vampire, and you'll see that we use the same cape that we have for the witch on the vampire too. So we're going to add some adhesive on the back of the bunny's body and just fit that cape right on, just like that. Now here's where it differs a little bit to make the vampire. We're going to add this little detail here. This is going to go on the front of the cape, and you'll see that the little red will peek out in the background just like the vampire's cape. I think that's so cute. And then we've got the bunny's head that we can layer back on. And then we have the collar of the cape too, and the bow tie. So first we're going to add the cute little bow tie right there, which just makes the whole thing, it's just adorable. And then we're going to add the cape, and the cape is going to go behind the bunny's head, and that you can see makes our adorable little Dracula. I think it would be fun to add little Dracula teeth with a little white gel pen. I think that would be adorable on the bunny. Next up, we're going to take a look at how to make the pirate, and these are the pieces you need for the pirate. So we've got the cute little pirate's hat and the little skull and crossbones, which we're going to layer onto the hat. And then we also have that little hook hand, and cutting the hook out of a metallic silver cardstock looks so fantastic for this. And then of course we have the eye patch, and all we need to do is layer these on top of the bunny. So we're going to add the little hook onto the bunny's paw. And then we can layer the eye patch, and this is my favorite part. I think it's just so cute when you layer this onto the bunny. And then of course we can add the pirate's hat on there, and that creates our adorable and super cute little bunny pirate. Next up, we're going to take a look at the little accessories that are included in this set. So we have this fun little treat bucket and also a little mini pumpkin. And to create the treat bucket, all you need to do is layer the jack-o'-lantern face over top of the base piece. This is going to fill in the details on the jack-o'-lantern and also give you the handle to be able to hold onto the treat bucket. We also have the most adorable little tiny pumpkin. We're going to layer that over the stem piece, and these are great for setting the scene or for having the bunny hold onto things. And then here we have our cute little candies, and we can just tuck those right into the treat bucket. It's really fun to cut them out of lots of different colors and layer them in the bucket. I think it looks absolutely adorable. And then here is a look at our cute little characters that we've made so far and how they can hold on to the different things. So you can have them hold on to the little treat bucket or the pumpkin, and there's something about this that I think is just so cute and sweet and looks absolutely adorable. Next up, we're going to make the wizard, and we're also going to show you some fun things that you can do with the bunny's ears. So here are all the pieces that you need for the wizard, and you'll see that it's the same as the witch. We've just changed up the colors, and instead of the buckle, we're going to use the star. And so I love the look of the different shades of blue for this. I think it's so pretty. We're going to add the band onto the wizard's hat and add the little star. And then now we can put together the wizard just like we did on the witch. So we're going to add the adhesive to the back of the bunny's body, and then we can fit the cape right over the neck, just like that. Then we can go ahead and put the bunny's cute little head right back on. I love this. It's just so adorable. Then we're going to give the wizard a little wand, and then we can add the hat right onto the bunny. And here you can see that the bunny ears are poking straight up, which looks super cute with the hat, but you can actually change the ears to give the bunnies different looks. So we're just going to pop the hat off there, and we're actually going to cut the ears off of the bunny. And then you'll see that you can do the bunny in 3 different ways. So just the traditional way with the ears poking straight up. You can also just add the hat without any ears, which looks super, super cute too, like his ears are tucked inside of the hat. Or you can also put the ears out at an angle. And so the ears that we just cut off, we're going to add some adhesive on those. And you'll see we're just going to have them peek out at an angle by gluing them onto the back of the hat. And this is one of my favorite ways to create the wizard. This is also cute for the witch too. And I think it's just absolutely adorable. And so here you can see the comparison of the 2 different ear styles. You can also see our witch, our wizard, our vampire, and the pirate. And oh my gosh, are these not just the cutest things ever? I love them so much. Now we had so much fun making these costumes, and we had so many ideas that we had to create more costumes. And so that's our Build-A-Critter More costumes. And here's a look at the costumes that are included in this set. You can make a fairy, a superhero, and also a ghost. And here is what those dies look like. We have the ghost costume, which you just actually layer right over the bunny. We have a superhero cape and a superhero mask. We have a belt and a little detail for the belt. We have a flower, a cute little dress for the fairy and a headband, the fairy wings, and a magic wand too. And so first up, we're going to take a look at the ghost. And this is the easiest costume we have in any of the sets. All you need to do is just add some adhesive on the back of the costume and then layer it right over your bunny to give it the cutest little ghost costume, perfect for Halloween. I can't get over how cute this bunny costume is. It's really cute out of white cardstock, and Jen created one with some pixie dust cardstock, and that's really pretty too. Now here is our superhero and all of the pieces you need to create this. And so we're going to start layering these all onto the bunny. And so first up, we're going to add the mask onto the bunny. And then just like the witch and the wizard, we're going to be adding the cape onto the bunny in the same way. It's got that same little cut line. It just has a different detail on it so that it looks like a superhero cape. And so we're going to take the cape and just tuck that right onto the neck of the bunny. We added some adhesive onto the back of the bunny to hold it in place. And you can see how cute that's looking. And then we can just replace the bunny's head right on top to create that super cute look. Now for the little belt, you'll see that there's an opening, a cut star. There's a little circle you can layer behind it to add color to the star. I really like using yellow there. And then you can layer the belt right onto the bunny to create the super cute superhero costume. So here are all of the pieces that you need to make the fairy. And to make the fairy, we're going to start off with the dress. And you'll see that we have a folded arm on the bunny. So we're going to remove the folded arm and also the bunny's head so that we can layer the dress right on the front. And you'll see how that layers right over the body, which looks so super cute. Then we can replace the bunny's head and also that arm that kind of tucks over. And so I like the look of that. Of course, you could have 2 arms out with the fairy as well. Then next we're going to work on the little headband. There's a little flower with an open center, and then that other little piece you can layer behind to fill in the center of the flower. Then here we have the headband, which you can layer onto the bunny's head. And of course you could use the headband on its own, or you can layer this cute little flower onto the headband, which I think is absolutely adorable. Then next up we have our fairy wings. We're going to add a little bit of adhesive just to the middle of the wings, and then we're going to add those to the back of the bunny. Then we can layer the star on top of the wand and then add the wand into the bunny's hand. And look at that fairy. Is that not just the cutest thing ever? I just love her so much. It's so much fun to cut the wings out of pearlescent vellum. And then here you can see the 3 characters that we created with the More costume set. We have the ghost and the superhero and the fairy. And you can see how the superhero and the fairy are really great for cards year round too. And now Shari is going to show you how to create the cutest witch. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And she's going to show you how to put together the Build-A-Bunny. And if you've never used Build-A-Bunny before, make sure to check out the intro. We'll link it in the description below. So take it away, Shari.
So let's create a cute Halloween scene with Build-A-Bunny dressed as a witch. So I have my Build-A-Bunny dies here and I've already cut out my pieces. And then I cut out all of the pieces to build a witch with the Build-A-Critter costumes set. So my bunny is cut from some dolphin cardstock. So it is that kind of gray, warm gray color. I have the face flipped over and I'm adding black behind the eyes. I have guava for the nose, so we have a very pink nose. And then I will add some ballet slipper cardstock for behind the ears. Now before I put the head on the bunny, I need to add the cape. The cape has a little cut that you just slide over the shoulders of the bunny's body. And you can put a little dab of glue between the front of the cape and the back of the bunny to hold it in place. But you see there how the neck of the bunny is up through that little slit. Then you can add the head so it looks like that cape comes around the shoulders and clasps in the front. Then I cut out both versions of the arms because I want one reaching out. This is going to hold the spoon in my cauldron. And then I want one coming in front. I also forgot to cut the belly of the bunny. So I did cut that from some white cardstock and I'm adding that before I add the hand that comes around into the front. And this one, I just want to tuck that little point of the arm up underneath the top of the cape. So it looks like it is coming out from underneath the cape right there at the top. Now for the hat, this is also cut from that dark purple, which this dark purple is from the purple textured canvas cardstock pack. I have a stripe that goes on it that is cut from black sparkle cardstock, and then I'm adding the little buckle. I love that black sparkle. But as you see, when you put the hat on the bunny as it is, you don't really see the ears very much. So how to fix that? We're going to trim off the ears of the bunny. Don't worry, we'll put them back on. And then I'm adding these to the sides of the hat. So almost like we're laying the ears down to the sides a little bit more. And then I can add the whole hat with the ears back to my bunny. And now we can see those ears poking out from behind that hat. There is also this cute little trick-or-treat bucket that I thought would add a nice pop of orange to the little scene that I'm making. I'm also using the Build-A-Cauldron set. So I cut the cauldron from some storm cloud cardstock. I have some green textured canvas cardstock for the part that's oozing out the sides. And then for the bubbles, I used pixie dust white sparkle cardstock. I did forget to put together the broom. This is from the Build-A-Critter costume set. And then I also have some books. I wanted a little height for this little bunny to stand up and stir this cauldron. So we're going to be standing on some books. So I have a mermaid book here, and then this one, I cut the colored piece from Blue Jay cardstock. The pages are speckled eggshell, and the piece that I layered behind the mermaid book, it's also speckled eggshell. And this is just going to give a little place for my bunny to stand. I also have the big spoon from Build-A-Cauldron cut there, but now I need to work on the background of my card. I'm starting out with a piece of lilac cardstock, and I pulled out my Distress mica stains. I don't use these very often, I kind of forget, but they are really fun to kind of add some spray to a background. So I used a purple, and these have some shimmer. This one you can't see very well until I pick it up and move it in the light because it is a light gray, kind of silvery color. I also added some black paint splatters and some white paint splatters to this background. I just really wanted to make it have that fun Halloween-y look. And then once that is all dry, I added the spiderweb backdrop on top of it. And I cut this from silver sparkle cardstock, which is a little more subtle than if it was black or white, but it really gives some really fun shimmer. I noticed when I was done, when I would move this in the light, that spiderweb would really catch the light, almost like a real spiderweb and how the sun hits it. Now I can add this whole piece to my card base before I start to decorate it with all of my die cut images. I did want to go ahead and get my sentiment before I start gluing things down. I'm using this Happy Halloween stamp from the Sweet Spiders stamp set, and I have a little strip of orange cardstock, and I'm just stamping it on each end. These are far away. I'm going to cut them apart into two little rectangular banners, but I thought the orange worked great because we have that little pumpkin sitting there, and this just brings in a little more orange to this cute little scene. So now I'm ready to glue everything down. I'm actually going to start with this book that goes in the bottom right corner, and then I will stack my other book right on top of it. And this is going to give my little bunny a place to stand. I'm also gluing that spoon in there so it doesn't move around. And then for the cauldron, I'm going to pop this up with some foam squares. I'm not worried about the spoon because it's going to actually touch the bunny's hand. So there's no foam behind the handle of the spoon. I did want to add my little broom into his hand. So he's going to hold the spoon in one hand and hold his broom down in the other hand. So once I get that in place, I will add foam all over this one as well. There is foam behind the broom, the end of the broom, because remember those books are glued directly onto the background. So now I can glue the handle of the spoon to the bunny's hand, and I'm just using my tweezers to hold it in place while that glue kind of sets. I will add my bright orange pop of that pumpkin treat bucket at the bottom, and then I can figure out my placement for my sentiment. And I will pop these up with foam too, so they're popped up off of that really fun glittery spider web. And then you can see I have that spider up there. That is from the cute cobweb die set. I was going to hang him off the top edge of the card, but once I got to this point, I actually liked him hanging like he's coming out from behind the sentiment. I thought that was a really fun added touch. And then I'm going to add a little bit more glitter to the green part coming out of the cauldron, the treat bucket, and the broom. And here is that finished card with that cute little witch rabbit stirring the potions. I love the shimmer of that spiderweb in the background. And I love that our Build-A-Bunny has some new costumes for more holidays.
Oh my goodness, Shari, I love this witch bunny so much, and I love that you brought in the cauldron and the books too. It looks absolutely amazing. And next up, I wanted to create a very spooky sky that's going to be perfect for our ghost bunny. So here we have our nighttime sky stencil, and we're going to be using the circle that's included in that set to create a moon. Here is some twisted citron ink, which is kind of like a limey green ink, and we're going to ink all over this moon here and then all over the rest of the cardstock. And that way, that piece of stencil for the moon is going to protect the cardstock, keeping the moon white. Then we're going to bring in some mowed lawn, which is a darker green, and we're going to go along the outside edges. That way the lightest color is towards where the moon is, and the darkest color is on the edges. And that's going to give it the look of a glowing moon. It's going to look really amazing. And so we're just going to keep working our way all the way around this cardstock here to give that beautiful green glow. Now the trick to a spooky sky is to bring in some black ink. So here we have some black soot distress oxide ink, and we're just going to layer the black all along the edges. So it's going to go over that green, and you can see how beautiful this is looking already, and it's going to give it that spooky nighttime sky feel. And so we're just going to keep piling on that ink all around the edges, making sure we don't go in too far because we still want to have that glow of the moon. And now we can remove that stencil, and look at that. Isn't that absolutely stunning? Now you could leave the moon just like this, but that nighttime sky stencil has all of these cool craters that you can add on to your moon, and it also has the moon opening too. And so we're actually going to add a little bit of color to this moon so it's not quite so bright on our card. And so here we're using that same twisted citron ink, but just going over the moon incredibly lightly and leaving some white spots so that you have a little bit of that green and a little bit of that white, going over it much more lightly that we added on to the background sky so that we still have that glowing moon feel. And as we remove the stencil, you can see how gorgeous this is. So now the moon isn't just a bright white, it has a little bit of that glow to it, and I feel like it gives it even more of a spooky look. And now we're going to use some of those craters here. And so here you can see there's kind of larger craters or smaller ones. In this case, we're going to use the smaller craters, and you can kind of twist them around the moon to get them in perfect placement. Then we can hold this there in place with a magnet and then just take some more of that same twisted citron ink, and we're going to ink over these craters. And I love that with just 3 colors of ink, we're able to make such a gorgeous background. And so here we're going to pile up the ink just a little bit more that we did on the moon so that they really kind of stand out. And there you can see how pretty that is. Now we're going to take some water in a spray bottle and spray water all over this background, and then just use a paper towel to pick up any of the excess. And you can see that the water is reacting with the ink to create this really spooky, fun look. And so you can kind of just keep adding water until you get that perfect look on your background. Then once you have that perfect look, we can just put that aside to dry. And then once it's dry, we're going to add some spooky clouds onto this. I love this nighttime stencil because there's so many different things that you can use on it. And these clouds are so much fun and they look so great overlapping onto the moon. And so you can just kind of play around with, okay, where is this cloud going to look good? As soon as we have a good placement, we're just going to use some Post-its to cover up some of the bits that are around this one cloud that we want to use. And we're going to use some hickory spoke ink, which is a gray ink, to layer these clouds over the moon. And we're just going to add that gray ink right on to those clouds, and you'll see that once we lift this up, look how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? And so now we can work our way around the stencil, picking out another cloud, using some Post-its to cover up any of those other little details that we don't want to add onto our moon, and using that same gray ink, we're just going to ink over that cloud. And then we can lift up our stencil and look at this spooky sky. It is perfect for any of our fun costumed critters. So now, to create even more of a spooky look, we're going to be taking out our spooky forest backdrop die. I love this die. It's the best scene builder, and we're going to die cut that from some sparkle cardstock. And isn't that beautiful over top of that sky? Oh my goodness. Now, I wanted to mention that if you have never made a Build-A-Bunny before, make sure to check out our intro to Build-A-Bunny so that you can learn all about this adorable, cute little bunny. We'll link it in the description below. Now that we have our perfect Halloween background, we're going to bring in that little ghost bunny that we made earlier, and we're just going to add a little bit of detail onto the bunny. So here's a really light blue-green marker. I think it's BG0000, but any light blue or blue-green marker is going to look amazing. And we're just going to go along the edges there, the kind of inside edges of the ghost costume, and also the edges there of the arms of the ghost costume. And you can see by just adding that little detail, it makes the costume look incredible. Then we're going to add some foam squares to the back of the bunny and then just layer the bunny onto the card front. And you can see that once you add this cute little bunny into this background, it's like the most perfect Halloween card. It just makes me smile so much. This is so much fun to create. And so here we have that cute little treat bucket that we made at the beginning of the video, and we're going to layer the treat bucket into the bunny's little ghost paws there. And so you'll see that they have cut lines, so you can lift them up and just tuck that little treat bucket in. You could also add the little pumpkin, which would be cute too. And now he's holding his trick-or-treat bucket. So the only thing this needs is the perfect sentiment, and this is the brand new Henry's Build a Sentiment Fall. And we have all of these really great fall and Halloween sentiments in this set. And so we're going to mix and match some of these phrases. And I love these because they're all the same size rectangular block, so you can just touch them together and they're going to line up easily and perfectly. And then once you have your perfect phrase, you can then just pick it up with your block and we're ready to stamp. And the sentiment, "Hello, Beautiful," is the perfect sentiment for this cute, super cute ghost. And this card that we're creating here was inspired by a card by Audrey. So thank you so much, Audrey. This card is so much fun. So here we have a sentiment banner die. We're going to line that up with this cute custom sentiment, and we're going to run that through the die cut machine. And now we have this fun little phrase. And so we're going to add some foam squares to the back of this piece, and we're going to layer that on to the card. And then what we can do is just trim off any of the excess. So we're going to put it up in the corner there so that it's kind of between those clouds that we inked over the moon, which I think is really, really a pretty look. And then we can just take our scissors and trim off any extra of the banner so that it looks like it's just going right off the edge, which I think is such a nice look. Next up, we wanted to add some more things into the scene, and this is our Build-A-House with all the add-ons, and the Halloween add-on has these super cute little bats. And of course, you could kind of shop your stash for fun Halloween sky things. We also have our Hearts and Scars skinny tag, and we cut that out of some holographic cardstock for some cute stars to add in the scene. And there's something about these bats as you add them in, I think it like just makes the card. Look how cute that is. It's absolutely adorable. And then we're going to add in some sparkly stars too, and this holographic cardstock makes the stars so beautiful. And so we're going to layer those into the sky to help kind of set the scene and add some fun sparkle on to this Halloween card. Then the last thing that we need to do is just take a standard size card base that's 5.5 by 4.25. We're going to add some adhesive to that and just layer our panel on top. And now this card is all done. And oh my goodness, am I in love with this card. The background was so much fun to create. And this little bunny in the ghost costume just makes me smile. I think it is absolutely adorable. And we were so inspired by making spooky backgrounds that we just had to make another one using the same stencil to create another spooky Halloween sky for our costumed bunnies. And so here we're going to be using the nighttime sky stencil, and we're going to use that moon mask again, and we're going to hold that in place with the magnet on this board, but you could also hold it in place with some removable adhesive. And then we're going to be using some dried marigold ink, and we're going to be building up 4 different colors to create this really beautiful sky. And so we're going to build up this color along the bottom and then switch to a new one, which is going to be spun sugar. And as we add the new colors, we're going to overlap them slightly so that you get this really cool blend as it goes up the card and towards the moon. And to make sure that the transition between the two is seamless, we're going to go back and forth between the two colors right where they meet to help blend them together, and you can see how beautiful that looks. Next up, we're going to work with seedless preserves, which is this beautiful purple that's just gorgeous. And so we're going to, again, layer them onto the sky, overlapping the two colors. So the pink and the purple are going to overlap. And then we're going to bring in faded jeans, which is a blue, and we're going to add that towards the top. Again, bringing it into a bit of that purple so that we'll be able to blend these skies together. And I really like this mixture for the sky. I normally do just purples or greens for Halloween skies, and I thought this was just such a beautiful combo that just looks absolutely stunning on the card. And here you can see that we're going back and forth between all of the colors again where they overlap to make sure that they blend really nicely, and also just to kind of deepen up the colors a little bit on this card. Now we're going to take some water in a water bottle and spray it on here, and we're going to pick up any of the extra water with our paper towel so that we get this really cool texture on the sky. And this always is the trick for making spooky skies, I think. Once you add that beautiful splatter on there, it really looks like a cool night sky. Now this time we are going to leave the moon plain white, but we are going to add some craters like we did before. And so this time we're going to use the kind of bigger craters here, and we're going to use some hickory smoke ink, which is a nice light gray, and just go over those craters onto the moon to give it that really beautiful detail. You can kind of take a peek under the stencil and see how it looks. We added a little bit more ink to make it a little bit darker, and there you can see how cool that is looking. Now for the spooky scene, we needed a fun scene builder. So this is our spooky fence die, and we die cut this from some storm cloud cardstock. We're going to add some adhesive on the back and then layer that right under the sky and under the moon. And I really like the yellow glow that comes up from the fence. I think that looks so beautiful on there. Now this next step here, we wanted to add some clouds like we did before, and we're going to do something a little bit different this time. We're going to use some paste, and this was inspired by a friend, and later we're going to show you the comparison between the two, but you could do just pixie dust paste like we did here so that it has just a little bit of glitter but it's very translucent, or you could do white paste and then some of the glitter pixie dust paste over top on the clouds, and that looks really, really awesome too. And so here we put down our stencil, and then we're just using some post-it note tape to make sure we cover up any of those extra bits here because we don't want to get any clouds where we don't want them, right? And then we're going to take this pixie dust paste, which is this beautiful translucent glitter, and we're just going to put that on with a spatula over the stencil. And this is going to give us these beautiful glittery 3-dimensional clouds. Once we add that on there, then we can go ahead and pick up the stencil and reveal these gorgeous sparkly clouds. Then we're going to go ahead and add one more cloud here towards the bottom. Again, we've got our post-it notes to protect any of the other details of the stencil, and we can add that pixie dust paste right over top and just kind of remove any of the excess and peel up that stencil and reveal this beautiful sky. I love those kind of spooky glittery clouds. I think it looks so, so pretty. And so next up, we are going to take out our vampire and our pirate. And we wanted to change up the pirate that we made at the beginning just a little bit. So the Build-A-Bunny has different styles of arms. It has arms that go out and then arms that come in. And we're going to use one of the arms that come in so that way he can hold on to one of the treat buckets. So we just popped off the other arm and changed it. And so if you made a bunch of these costume critters beforehand and then kind of add them to cards later, you can easily change the arms and add your cute little treat buckets or however might work best for your design. And so now here we're going to tuck the little treat bucket under his little paw. I mean, look at that. Is that not the cutest thing? I just love them dressed up. It really does feel like playing with paper dolls. It's just so much fun. And then we're going to give our little pirate bunny here a little basket as well. And these guys are looking so cute. And I love that you can mix and match any of these costume friends together on the card, depending on whatever look you're going for. We're going to add some foam squares to the back of each of these characters to give them a nice pop off of the sky. And then for the sentiment, we're going to be using Simply Fall Sentiments, which has a lot of great fall sentiments in it. And it has this wonderful Happy Halloween. And so here we have some black licorice cardstock. We're going to prep it with an anti-static powder tool. And then we're going to stamp our Happy Halloween sentiment in some clear embossing ink. And once we have that stamped, we can go ahead and sprinkle on our white heat embossing powder, tapping off any of the excess, and then we can heat it up with our heat tool to have a nice bright white shiny sentiment. Next, we can trim this out in the paper trimmer, just giving it a nice little border all of the way around. And then we can add it on to our card. And we're going to add that on with some foam squares so that it has a nice pop. And I love that it's a bold sentiment right over the moon. I think that looks so, so cool. Then next up, we just need a standard size card base that's 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to layer this whole piece on top. And then now this card is all done. And isn't it so cute? I love it so much. I love creating a fun, spooky sky for these cute costume characters. And I wanted to show you how you could choose any of the costumes depending on what look you're going for a similar background. You could also do something like use our gradient papers for your sky and have a die cut moon on there and do the same type of card, bringing in all of your favorite costume bunnies. Oh my gosh, I just think it is so much fun and so very cute. Now, one of the other things that I really love about this set is it's so cute for Halloween, which I love, but it's also cute for everyday cards too. And the fairy and the superhero are really, really great for that. And here I wanted to show you a really awesome Knock Knock Who's There card using the fairy. Isn't this so much fun? I love it so much, and I love it with this cute interactive die. And we'll link the video in the description below so you can see how to make this card. And then next up, Shari is going to wow you with a fun superhero themed card. So these costume characters are perfect for Halloween and they're perfect for year-round cards, and we can't wait to see all of your bunnies. So take it away, Shari.
Let's make a superhero bunny. So build a bunny for my bunny parts that are already cut out here, and then build a critter more costumes, have even more choices, and that is where the superhero costume is. So let's build the bunny first. I cut my bunny from craft cardstock for a brown bunny. I'm using ballet slippers cardstock to back the ears and the nose, and then of course some black licorice cardstock for behind the eyes. Isn't that just adorably cute? Now, for the superhero itself, you want to put the cape on before you put the head of the bunny on. It slides over the top, so it looks like it's wrapped around the shoulders, and then you can attach the head to that little neck piece that is sticking up. I also have the little white belly here. This is cut from vanilla malt cardstock, so it's that kind of cream toned. And I like that the little tie of the cape fits over the belly too. Now I have both versions of the hands of the bunny, the ones that fold in front and hold things, and then the ones that stretch out to the side. So for this bunny, I'm actually going to do both so that he can hold something in his right hand. Or I guess really it's his left hand. So I just made sure I tucked that behind the body so it goes between the body and the cape. And then now I am adding his little superhero mask, which I just think is so cute. Now I cut the mask and all the costume pieces actually from textured canvas cardstock. So I have a different shade of blue from that same blue textured canvas pack for the belt. And there is also the little circle that backs the star so that you can make the star a different color. And then I will just add that little belt to my bunny. I'm going for kind of classic Superman colors with the red, blue, and yellow. And I just think he turned out so super duper cute. So now let's make his background. So I have a piece of spiffy speckles paper that I've cut out with the largest outside in stitch rectangle. And I'm using the Stratus cloud stencil and my grip mat to hold my paper and my stencil in place. And then I am using Forget Me Not ink to ink blend some clouds to go behind my little bunny. I'm also going to dust the edges of the panel with that same ink just very lightly to kind of enhance the outside edges. Now for the really fun part, I pulled out the mini slimline stackables and I cut a few rectangles out of some narwhal cardstock. I'm going to make buildings in a city to create a scene for my superhero. It's a classic superhero saving the city. And for each of these, I am going to do something different to make it look like a building. So for this one, this is the wider of all of them. And I didn't even cut the whole rectangle because it's going to get chopped off on the bottom. And then I'm pulling out some storm cloud ink and I have the brick stencil and I'm going to add bricks to this building. Now this one is the one that the bunny is actually going to stand on. And my sentiment is going to cover a lot of this up as well. But I'm just going all over with that storm cloud. And now I have some bricks. And I'll just kind of grunge it up just slightly so it's not so perfect. For this tall, skinny one, I thought it would be fun to add these splatters. Now you could add them in colors like graffiti, I guess. But I wanted all the buildings to look the same in color so that my bunny really stood out. And this one's going to kind of be like a chimney coming out of that bigger building that has the brick. Just kind of grunge it up with those splatters. It looks like dirt splattered on there. Now for this one, I cut a second rectangle of the same size from Storm Cloud cardstock, so that darker cardstock, and I'm actually using the Sprinkles border die to cut out all these fun openings, and I thought it gave this skyscraper a really cool look. So when I glue this on top, that lighter gray is going to show through those little sprinkle openings, and it gives it a really fun look. And then I have one more building left, and for this one, I'm going to do something a little unexpected. I am going to grunge it up just a little bit first because I am going to be layering some storm cloud colored die cuts over top. And I have the little farm fence die, and I've cut 2 fences, and I'm actually going to put them vertical and butt the bottom parts, so the flat edges, right up against each other and make this grid on this building. And I think it looked so cool when I got it all together. It looked just like a skyscraper. So I am adding my glue all over one. I'm keeping the other one in place so I can make sure I get it in the right place to where they meet in the middle is in the center of my building. And then I'm just letting the ends overlap off the edges of the top and both sides. And we have those little points on the sides. I think that looks really cool. And then I can add my other fence in the same way and just line it up like mirror images of each other. And look how cool that turned out. Doesn't it look just like a skyscraper? I think it's perfect. And for a little more texture, I'm going to add some black watercolor paint splatters all over these 3 pieces here. I don't really need it on the 4th piece because that one is predominantly the darker gray color, so I don't think you'd see these splatters as much, but on these 3 you definitely do. So here is my cityscape. I've kind of laid it out and I will start to glue these pieces down. Now this little skinny one, like I said, it's kind of like a chimney sort of shape back there and it's going to layer behind some of the other buildings or pieces here. Now for the one that's on the far left, I didn't want it popped up quite as much as foam would do. So what I did is I took 2 scrap pieces of cardstock, layered them together so it's double thickness, and then I'm just going to trim it off, and this is going to act as what my foam would do. So it's going to lift it up a little bit off that background, but not as much as some foam. So I just glued that to the background, and then I can add my skyscraper right on top. And it is overlapping the edge a little bit. Now I have already glued the one on the right, and I lined up the right edge. And then for this one, I'm adding foam so it can be popped up and it can be in the same plane as my bunny. And of course, you can see I need to trim off the bottom of all of these buildings so that they are at the bottom of my pattern paper panel. Now, before I assemble this together, I want to work on my sentiment. I'm stamping the word thanks at the top. This is from the Thanks, Thanks, Thanks stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp that in black ink directly onto my pattern paper where I did my stenciling. For the rest of my sentiment, I used Village Heroes, and that is because in this set there is a sentiment, "You are my hero," and this fits perfectly onto this little stitched banner. So I will just line those two stamps up, pick them up with my block, and stamp them in black ink on this banner as well, and this is going to go along the bottom. So I have a craft card base and I will put my whole little scene on there. Since I use the outside in stitched rectangle, I'm going to get that little border of that craft color, which ties in really well with the color of my little superhero bunny. For the sentiment down here, I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue and center this up, gluing it directly onto that low building where my little bunny is going to stand. And then of course for my bunny, I have added some foam squares all over the back, and I will pop him right into this space in the middle of the card. And then I also cut out a star using the star stackables. This is the smallest one. I just thought that would be a really fun thing for him to hold. Now I do have all these little extra colorful stars in my drawer on my desk, so I pulled those out and sprinkled them around for some added fun. And of course I will add some stickles to all the stars. I'm also going to add a little bit to his belt as well as all the stars. And then here is my finished card. I just love how it turned out. That little superhero bunny is so adorably cute, and I just love the city that I created for him to stand in.
This card is so cool, Shari. I love the superhero bunny and the amazing buildings you made. It is just incredible. And next up, we have some awesome cards by the design team. And this one here by Tammy blew me away. I love the slimline card with her witch bunny and the cauldron, and then she brought in our book collection books to make spooky spell books. I think this is so sweet and such a gorgeous Halloween card. Next up, we have a super cute card by Anea, and she dressed up our bunny as a witch and added her into our brand new build-a-jack-o'-lantern dies, and I love the colors that she used for this card. These tags by Elena are so much fun. I love the little spider webs that she added onto them, and the fun, cute bunnies dressed up like superheroes and fairies. Oh my gosh, it is just so adorable and so sweet. Next up, we have a really fun card by Grace that shows you that this super cute fairy can be used for year round, and I love the tooth fairy theme. How adorable is this? This card by Elise is so cute. I love all of her costume bunnies together, and they're all holding their little trick-or-treat buckets. I think it's just adorable. I love this fall theme card by Mindy. It's like a little fall fairy. Oh my gosh, how sweet. I love it so much with the sunflowers and the jack-o'-lantern. It's adorable. Now here Lynette had the best idea. She took all of those fun hats and she added them onto these new build-a-jack-o'-lanterns, and I think it looks so cute, and it's such a fun way to use this die. This card is so sweet. I love this little bunny stirring the cauldron with the new build-a-jack-o'-lantern there too. It is just adorable. And then this card here by Melissa is so fun. I love the spooky clouds that she created and the ghost with the witch hat. I think it's just so sweet. This card by Audrey inspired us to make ours. I love that green spooky sky and her cute little ghost bunny. It's just adorable. And then this card by Letitia is so fun, and I love that she used the ghost costume on its own, which is so fun with these pinks and oranges for Halloween. So we cannot wait to see all of your cute costume bunnies, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!